I've been going to state tournaments since I was 5 years old. I can remember when I was a little kid and Wes Unseld and those guys were playing, and my dad tells this story. I went down and got a drink of water out of the cooler because I wanted to be like Wes Unseld.
I don't remember much about it, but I remember that was my first tournament. I was excited to be there, and we came up and spent the week, and I don't think I've missed one since then.
The memories started for me very early. I don't remember a lot about the game, but I remember how many people were there and thinking that, man, one of these days that would be really great to just be able to play in a game like that.
You can go through the years and so many good coaches and so many characters. It's one time a year that I know of, besides the Derby, that Kentucky people really get together and have a great time, and there's nothing like it.
My most memorable state tournament is one in Louisville when we had Richie Farmer and Allen Houston hooking up. And I recall saying, I don't think Richie can score on Houston, and I think he hung about 45 on him that night.
I know one of the first couple years was the year that Paintsville had J.R. Van Hoos and Todd Tackett. And I was sitting here the day that J.R. Van Hoos had something like 75 rebounds in one game. It was unbelievable. And then later that night, I believe, is when Rick Jones hit a last-second shot to beat Lexington Catholic. I mean, that tournament, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Well, I think, because we all a little prejudiced, I think our particular year was the greatest year. But I think if you check history and go back and look at it, that it has to be the best state tournament in the history of that particular year in the history of basketball in the state. There are so many players back in those days, and that particularly early 60s, mid 60s, there was excellent players in the state of Kentucky.
You know, going into that Ashland game in the state finals, it was almost like, you know, there was nothing to worry about. You know, we were going to win this game. That's how we felt. It was destiny that we were going to do it. And people still talk about that team. You know, it's been almost 20 years, and I think we've still been one of the smallest schools to win a title in a long time. And you know, that means a lot to people who come to the Sweet 16, and to look back on it, it's just, I mean, it was a magical season. It really was.
I remember we were up in Cleveland with the Kentucky Wildcats, and in the satellite truck, dialed up the Sweet 16 to see Antoine Barber coming from like the hash mark on some slam dunk one time. These memories, you can talk about them out here with all these guys, and everybody was there. Everybody remembers it. Just a lot of special times.
You can see why it's so special. A period of 4 or 5 days that you can never imagine what can go on, but you sit and enjoy basketball at its finest.
I think it's your first time for success. It's your first time for a lot of kids to play something on a bigger stage.
You know, I think it's just the fact that they're playing for their home cities, and their fans and families are here supporting them.
It just blows anything away I've ever seen as far as high school athletics go. I was hooked. And I mean, here it's been almost 20 years, and I make a point to make sure I get down here. Even if Kentucky's playing all across the country, I make sure I get here before I have to go follow the Cats for sure.
The beauty of Kentucky basketball, it touches the kid in McQuarrie County, you know, in the mountains, or Harlan County in the mountains, as well as it touches the kids in Louisville and Lexington in Northern Kentucky, big city. You know, basketball's a thing. It doesn't matter what race you are. You know, the bottom line is, can you play? And the people that love it really, really love it. And I think Kentucky loves it like no other.